At GE Aviation, we have portals where we connect with our customers to provide world-class service. We created mygeaviation.com, which provides the best of user experience with personalization capabilities. The customers can get into the portal, view their products, and the detailed information with just a few clicks away. Responsive web design, which we just heard few hours back from our esteemed speakers, service-oriented architecture has made the portal very intuitive to use. I would like to invite Mr. Vaibhav Sisinty, CEO, co-founder, and student entrepreneur from Crazy Heads, interesting name, to share some of his ideas and thoughts around user experience.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, that means people are not sleeping. Maybe the reason is, okay, there's a kid out here. Let us listen what he's speaking. All right. So how was the lunch? I'm just breaking the ice for myself. How was the lunch? Yeah, it was a pretty lavish lunch, and thank you for that non-veg serving. Yeah. All right. I'm going to talk about something which I cannot even spell properly. Contemporization of UX. So what I'll try to do is, I've been listening to talks here. People have been talking about predictive analysis. When I think about predictive analysis, I think about aptitude. My dad has asked me to get a job, so I have to practice some aptitude. And that is all I understand about predictive analysis. Alright, when we talk about big data, Hadoop, I understand simple things. What is big data? Okay, big data is a bunch of data, big ton of data, and we run some random statements that we run in SQL, maybe related using R, and we retrieve some information. One of my professors told me, sir, why do we use big data? He told, dude, see, it's a very simple concept. Let's say there's an e-commerce, Flipkart, okay? Flipkart wants to predict which product are they going to sell the most in the future. Is it going to be Moto E, is it going to be Moto G, or is it going to be Xiaomi or something else? So they use all this big data analytics by tracking the users, taking in data and all that, and they actually predict the future. It's like, whoa, this is like a time machine. This sounds great. And then he asked me, what do you understand by analytics? Sir, analytics? Yeah, I know what analytics is. Analytics is Google Analytics. Analytics is all about how many page views, where the user click, where the user spend most of his time in. So I try to keep the whole user experience and the slight part of analytics part to my extent of knowledge. That is how a startup uses analytics tools. How a normal startup enhances their own, own vision of their own startup using analytics, simple analytics. So, the question, what is UX? Well, if you ask this to any student and if he has got no idea of what UX is, he would Google. And the Google answer would say something like this: user experience involves the person's behavior, attitude, emotions about using a particular product, system or service. Boy, this is not for a project. We need to understand what UX is. And the expression is this. Oh yeah, I get that. But what do you mean by that? So, UX is all about making a person feel that there is no computer he's sitting in front of. This is actually a person who's interacting with him sitting in front of. And this is what I understand by user experience. What do you think? What do you think? Yes? So, maybe in simpler words, user experience should be something where a user feels, yes, this app has been made for me. This website has been built for me to use. And that is what user experience is all about. So, when a grandmother uses the site, which has got amazing user experience, this is what she'll think. Looks like my son is on the other side. This is exactly what he said. So, but we have to understand a very important thing. There's a big misconception among normal people that if you build a beautiful UI, a good interactive UI, that is equal to good user experience. But it's not. It's not always applicable. Now, the big question, what is UI? UI is simply, this is something which I've read from books. It's a source of medium where a person interacts with the screen. Graphical user interface. Microsoft invented it, copied from Apple, and Apple took it from Xerox. Yes, that is what UI is. So what is the exact difference now? Now when we say user feels comfortable when we talk about UX, and the UI should look beautiful. What is the basic difference between UI and UX? If you ask me what is the basic difference between UI and UX, I'll give you a simple example which is not at all non-technical. I like a girl in the first sight. She's attractive, she's beautiful, she's cute. That is user interface. Now, there's a girl who has been my best friend for maybe 5 years, and I know her properly, and I start loving her. That is user experience. Please note the point. Please note the point that you marry someone and there is not always UI is equal to UX there. Though I don't have much experience in this, predictive analysis says about this. Alright, so simply UI is, wow, that looks great. And what is UX? Well, that is easy to use. UX definition is not exactly this, but a lot of proportion of UX, according to me, depends on this. How easy is it to use? Simple example was from Flipkart. From an example before, they said the app was not functioning they wanted it to be because there was lags. It was slow, so user was not actually experiencing what he wanted to. And that is what user experience is, because the navigation was not the way that he wanted it. He was waiting for a longer time than he had to. And again, a simple example, Ferrari. You say it, whoa, that looks gorgeous. That is user interface, and when we ride it, oh, this looks powerful, user experience. So, apart from the fun part, if I keep on going on with this memes and fun part, they'll be like, why did I call you? You're not a joker in here. So, I'll go in for a depth of user experience. First point, and very important point, building a site for your visitors, not yourself. Or building an app. The whole presentation will be over websites here. I'll be trying to keep it over a website or web apps. So, when we talk about user experience, the first thing that we should think about is the audience. Who are our target audience? Let's say a simple one. Why is eBay so popular from the initial inception? Because it was very easy to use. A person who knows how to use a computer can use it, can upload his product. He can become a virtual seller. They knew their audience. I'll give you one more example. Let's say I'm building a website for maybe car reviews, okay? My website has got reviews for cars like Ferrari and for even delivery vans. If I set up the same sections or same fields for both of them, let's say torque. A person who's looking for the features and the power of a Ferrari would look at torque. The person who's looking to buy a delivery van, would he care about torque? Okay, if he cares about torque, would he really care about the speed? No, he would care about the size, the capacity, and that is what it's all about. Now, one more very important thing, and this comes mostly in perspective of websites. How do people reach? We know that whenever we want something, even I reach Wikipedia through Google. I know I can go to wikipedia.com and search for UX, but I Google it because I know that user experience, when I search for user experience, it has to be Wikipedia in the top. So people Google, and when the people Google, they don't actually land on the home page, do they? They can land on any page. Let's say I'm looking for a florist, okay? I'm looking for a florist and I search for someone. I search for a florist at Bangalore. I get a site, I open it up, and it is all bloomy because it's an event management company. It has got no relativity to the florist. A person who's actually trying to hire him would never hire him because he doesn't see the connection between those two things. There should be at least a line or a tag which says that I am an event management company and we do a lot of services, which flowering and the florist part is also included. Understanding why people, what is that? Can anyone read? Can anyone read? You know why people leave? Because of this. People leave because of this. Because they're looking for a certain kind of information in there. They're looking to perform a job. Everything is clear, everything is visible, other than the main important part of it. You've seen e-commerce stores, small local e-commerce stores, placing advertisements on their own e-commerce which has advertisements of Flipkart, Snapdeal. Why do you want to do that? Your main selling point is not advertisement, it's not number of page reviews that you get. It's about selling your products. And when I ask them, why do you do it? Extra money. Next. Consistent design. So I would ask you a question now. How many of you actually checked out the center section of the slide when I moved on and you found nothing? How many of you? This is what consistent design is all about. You look for consistent design because people take some time to understand your site. The amount of time they should take to understand the site should be as less as possible. When we keep changing the layouts, when we keep changing the interfaces, what happens is a person has to actually understand the site. He has to spend more time on it. And once a person leaves your site, he's not going to come back. Copy is not what they say. Maybe, yeah. Well, this actually implies for small startups. Let us say, I'll give you a simple example. I'm trying to start an e-commerce store. Okay. I'm keeping it on e-commerce, no intentions of keeping it around e-commerce, but I feel this will be easier to understand. So, I'm planning to build an e-commerce store. There are already e-commerce stores or e-commerce, the same competitors, maybe the bigger giants, who have invested tons of money to understand user experience, to understand where the design goes around. So, why do you have to do the whole headache thing again? Just go to Flipkart, just go to Amazon, just go to eBay, understand how the site structure works for them, copy it. Why do you have to invest money for that? Come on. Now, some few other elements which are really important in UX according to me. Placements. Yes. Where is the button placed? I want to create an account. First thing I would like to see when I get into a site where there's a provision of creating account should be the button create account. Placement is very vital. Next comes colors. You see the colors text in there. First is black, which is very visible, red, which is very vibrant and eye-catchy, and then ends with lighter colors. This actually shows the importance of colors. This actually tells the importance that we should specify. A good example would be Amazon. How many of you have noticed this, that add to cart is always in yellow? How many of you have noticed? Every time we want to add to cart, we see it right then. And I love that part. They keep it white and yellow, very simple, but it actually works. Then the other parts, show what is important, very specific. In all the slides I've been showing that. And then size matters. That proves it. In a line of text, bigger is the font, better is the visibility, and better is the attention. That doesn't mean that we break it apart, we keep it half the size of the screen. People are going to close it now. Okay, let's go mobile now. I have to pull it up. They were one of our clients in Telugu Corporation. Okay, so they had this site which was designed by one of the designers 6 years back. So this was the problem with them. The site had a web app behind it, and when the users used to check it on other places, other screensavers and all, it used to break. Not exactly break, the screen used to get cut. And because they had no JavaScript involved then, even when you scroll, it's going to break. How many of you have experienced that with old sites? And how do we fix it? Responsive web design. We've been talking about this, and this is how we revamped the whole thing. There was a video, but I'm actually skipping it because I don't have time here. So, is this correct? Right. It's not correct. So, when we build a UX for web app, it's not always that, even if it is responsive, it is not always perfect for a mobile screen too. Why? Because when we build it for a website or for a bigger screen, we use higher rich graphics. And when we make it responsive, we have to keep one thing in our mind, that we are using the same site. It's just getting smaller. So, the speed matters. Navigation. navigation is something very important. You see those buttons, right? And almost everybody uses mobile phones nowadays. So you see those small three-lined menu item. When you click on that, we get the menu. Navigation, thumb-friendly. Google and Apple have invested tons of dollars into adding those external features of just swiping, right? Why don't we use them? Easy to complete the task, and more importantly, it should look like a main app, boss. अगर दो ऐप अलग अलग दिखे तो वो सोचेगा कौन बनाया यार ये? So, I'm just skipping this. I've spoken a lot about UX, spoken a lot about usability. What about logo design? A lot of people actually miss this out. I see the GE logo and I actually like it. There are very few logos which I like. You know, the frankness is, a lot of people, all these companies are very old, so they don't actually want to change their logos. So that is the problem why normally a lot of logos look, for youngsters like me, they're like, अरे यार, $2,000, ₹2,000 तो खर्च कर सकता है लोगो के लिए, इतना भी क्या कर रहा है? So, what about logo designs? I'll show you a few bad logos. The first logo, I won't speak about it. The second logo, I don't understand what it is till now. Is it SUNKIST or is it SINKIST? This has been a big problem with a lot of logos. There have been some big logos, big companies involved in this gamble. Now, plagiarism. This happens in India, boss. Liverpool Gurukul Public School. They sound similar, isn't it? Liverpool Gurukul Public School. And the logos are similar too. Sometimes they're intentional, sometimes they're not. I hope this presentation doesn't go out. Even if it does, a few sites have to be deleted like this. Bajaj and Volkswagen. No, I didn't say this. I didn't make it, my teammate made it, so if there is someone coming up for this or suing me, so I'm not the person involved. So I don't want to speak about this also. So, big question, don't like your logo branding, because if we run a company, if we run a startup, if we own a company, we know that, see, this is not the best logo that I can have. But why don't people change it? Because they feel, oh God, this is going to be very tedious. I have to change the whole branding. I have to change it in the posters. I'm going to change it in banners. I have to change the whole corporate branding structure. But yes, you can, because it matters. Does a logo matter? If a logo of a big giant like General Electric would have been in maybe a lousy font with a cursive writing, with all broken inks, won't you feel uncomfortable joining a company? I'll tell you, there are a few people in my college who didn't join companies because they found the name of the company is not good enough for the Facebook profile. And this happens. But they will join if they don't get another job. So, best examples, Apple. How many of you have seen this first logo of Apple? Very few. That was the first logo of Apple. And then it transformed into this. And they're using a lot of versions of it now. Now, Microsoft. Microsoft has been changing the logos very openly. I love this fact about Microsoft. Every time the OS changes, accordingly the logo changes. We are not bigger companies than Microsoft for sure. We don't have the corporate structure, the printability, because Microsoft has got that outsourced projects and they have to change it everywhere. Apple has got to change it everywhere. If GE has to change it, they have to change it everywhere. When they can do it, why not small companies can do it? If today I feel Crazy 8's logo is not good enough, I'm going to change it in an hour. That has to be the point. Now, target audience. Why is this so funky, pinky and all? Because that is what it meant to be. Barbie is for girls. Girls like pink. This doesn't need any analysis. And Nickelodeon. Kids, orange, pink, blue, anything works out for them. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you.